All right, in this video, we're going to talk about how to choose the best place to live in the Tampa area. For you, maybe for your family. My name's Sam, and welcome to the Living in Tampa, Florida channel, where every single week we release videos about what it's like to live, work, play, and move to the Tampa area. People are moving to Florida like crazy. There's so many reasons. People like to live in the tropical weather. People like to live in a state with no state income tax. And with this pandemic that's going on, people just want to be outside more. If you are interested in moving, please give us a call, text, email anytime. I am a licensed realtor, so with any real estate specific questions, I would love to help. And if this kind of stuff is something you want to follow along with, please hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell so you don't miss any of our videos. All right, let's get into choosing the right area for you. Of course, there are so many factors with a big metro area like this, and people are calling me all the time asking for my advice on what area might be best for them. And that is such a specific thing, but I'm here to help you. A couple of factors I want you to think about when you're choosing the right area. Number one, work. I helped a client purchase a house recently in the Land O'Lakes area, which is an area kind of north of Tampa, and it is really a land of lakes. There's lakes everywhere. In their one neighborhood, there were like 3 big lakes that you could like get a boat onto, and then a lot of other small lakes that you could fish and swim in and things like that. They really liked this area, but they had to commute to like downtown Tampa. So that was always a factor that we were thinking about. Do you like the house enough to deal with the commute? And that's something I want you to think about. Because the Tampa area doesn't really have the road systems that are ideal for commuting, you have to be looking at the maps and really calculating what your commute's gonna be from different areas. Because it's gonna be very different from different areas. For example, I live around 20 minutes from downtown Tampa, but it takes about 45 to 50 minutes to get there. That's because I have to go south along Highway 19. You can kind of see here on the map. I have to go around this big lake, Lake Tarpon. Then I have to go all the way down to the south of it before I can cut to the east and head into Tampa. This is pretty inconvenient, but since I don't need to go to Tampa all that often, at least to downtown, it's really not that big of a factor for me. And this is the kind of thing you need to think about when you're moving. I was actually talking to one of you, a YouTube subscriber, just the other day, and she was in town looking for some areas, kind of thinking about where they might live when they move here. She asked me a couple very specific things. She said, we want to be somewhat close to indoor shopping and somewhat close to the beach. So I thought of a couple areas, but I actually ended up recommending an area called Town and Country. This is actually an area of Tampa that's growing very fast. This area is pretty close to the Citrus Park Mall, which is a big indoor mall. And since it's not too far north or south, you can cut over west pretty easily and get to beaches like Clearwater Beach or Caladesi Island. I recommend Caladesi Island over Clearwater Beach. So not only was this person thinking about where they could potentially work, but they're also thinking about where they would go to have fun. This is a big factor for most of you. If you're moving to Florida, you're thinking about the beaches, you're thinking about being outside. There's a lot of outdoor stuff here to do, and I don't want you to be too far from that outdoor stuff to where you don't take advantage of it. That's something I notice with people in Tampa. People in Tampa actually don't seem to care that much about the beach. I hope I get some locals commenting, telling me I'm wrong, but from my perspective of living here about a year, people in Tampa don't care that much about the beach. Because often if you live in Tampa, it feels pretty inconvenient to go all the way over to the beaches in Pinellas County. Another YouTube viewer that I was talking to recently comes from a Jewish Orthodox background, and it's very important to their family to be within a quarter mile of a Jewish synagogue. So they chose this specific synagogue. When they told me what area it was in, immediately I had red flags because that is pretty close to a high crime area. So I immediately mentioned that and made sure they were taking that into account. After I did a little more research, there's a little pocket within this area that is very safe, maybe because of this Jewish neighborhood. So they wanted a specific house in this neighborhood within a quarter mile of the synagogue. I started looking around the area, realized, first of all, there's none of those houses for sale. Then I dug in even deeper and found out there's 30 houses that might fit their criteria within a quarter mile, and none of them are for sale. I offered to go knocking on the doors for her. We'll see if I end up knocking on all 30 of those doors. I'll let you know. But that kind of a thing is very important to people. You want to be close to very specific things, and that should be supported. And I want to help you find those areas. And since Tampa is such a big metro area, that gets kind of complicated. And it really takes boots on the ground, someone like me here searching those areas for you and doing that work. We actually moved from Colorado to Florida to be close to family. Our daughter was about to turn 2, the pandemic started, and it was just kind of the right time to move. So we made the move in May from Colorado Springs to Tampa. We had some family to stay with, so it was a pretty easy landing and transition for us. And the main reason we were moving was to be close to family. So that was a very big factor to us. But we were delightfully surprised by the area we chose, and we would choose it again. The area is very close to the water, which means we have to have flood insurance on our house. But we're also walking distance to so many things, and easy driving distance to so many things, to where I might go an entire week without driving on a highway. And that's really nice. It gives you a very, very local feel. And that's something that's really cool about the Tampa area is you have all of these sub-cities that make up the big city of Tampa. And all of these sub-cities are really their own little ecosystem and community. That brings me to a point that I want to make. Community is very important right now. In the midst of this pandemic, as so many people are working from home, as so many families can't be together because they're scared of getting the elderly and their family sick, choose an area where you think you can find community. We've found it through our neighbors, through all kinds of activities that happen at the park, different art classes that my wife can take our daughter to and meet other young moms and things like that. And so think about what community you want to be involved in and what community you want to invest your life in, and then really zero in on that area. Every sub-city or neighborhood in Tampa really tries to engage in community in that way. And people are very proud of the area that they're from. Oftentimes they can't even imagine living in another area of Tampa. All right, going back through our list, when you're choosing your area in Tampa, make sure you're thinking about your commute times. Make sure you're thinking about how close you are to things that you enjoy. Make sure you're thinking about building community in the area. And make sure you're close to the things you care about. Choosing an area is such a personal thing, and we're here to support you in any way. Don't forget to call, text, or email our team here. We would love to help you find the right area for you. If you found this video useful, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any videos in the future. Again, I'm Sam. Thanks for coming by.